Hey everybody, it's Andy here, AK Montolio, and we're back for round 4 of the Vintage Challenge. We're playing Ravager Shops, and we've won the die roll, which is good. So what do we think of this hand? I think it's fine. If we're playing against something like Dredge, this is obviously very bad. Bizarre strategies. Double Ancient Tomb is never ideal, but we've got two major pieces that we're looking for. Really, here three, as we have a very nice opener with Mox uh, into Sphere. And we can follow that up by having exactly enough mana to cast a Ravager, Ravager, or if we choose to go bigger into a Stone Coil with the second Ancient Tomb, still giving us the ability to Wasteland or play a Saga off the top. Okay. I've never been a fan of double Ancient Tomb hands, but I mean, on the play, when you have this type of a setup, I think it could be worth it. And my opponent has a Force and a Fluster, so they did find an answer. Two cards on their bottom. Okay. There may be land light, or heavy for that matter. Okay. We found a target for our jet, which is not ideal because uh, we have our own jet here. So let's get the Revoker in here. We're going to take that opportunity for sure to get the Ravager in here. And now we can sacrifice our Mock Jet if need be. And so our power is diversified here, so I think that's pretty good. So we got a Bolt incoming. Okay. So this looks like Grixis of some sort. This is an Abrade. Yep. All right. So pretty good from my opponent there. Um, I can make a 6/6 Stone Coil here, which is pretty damn good. It's DAC proof. I think I'm just going to play conservatively here. I'm going to be able to make this thing very, very large in a couple turns here. So we don't have to go ham here. I like getting the value out of the sagas, to be honest with you. The aft never used ability of Gingerbrute to gain 3 life. There's some nifty tricks that you can do with that. I have seen it used to sacrifice out of nowhere and remove people's bridge from belows. That's probably the coolest line I've seen with reference to gaining life. 2 cards on top. Okay. It's not usually what you want to see. Treasure Cruise, yep. Pretty decent. But we have a substantial amount of pressure coming my opponent's way here, so I don't feel terrible about our position. I'm still not sure what type of deck my opponent is on here, whether they're just playing okay, just about to say, it feels like a breach deck, but showing the Lotus Petal there, I think, is very much... I'm just going to keep making my guys big here. And what do we want to get? Let's take a look. Pithing Needle. I don't think Pithing Needle really does much. See if they have another force here. I'm casting this pre-combat to get the extra 1 power boost on this thing here. And your go. Nice, they didn't have an end of turn play, which is good. Tinker, okay, that's pretty bad for me, but we'll see what it gets them. Yeah, Citadel, okay. I mean, you know, they got 9 life to work with here, so... There's a land. I mean, I don't think we're favored from this position, but it's not... You know, I would say my opponent's about 60% favored, but it's not a guarantee that they're going to win here. They are at 8 life with a Citadel on top, and they do need to be able to stop a whole bunch of power coming their way. Like, combo kill me right now, or, you know, I don't think, barring a Hurkyl's Recall, there's going to be enough out of their deck to be able to stop what I'm doing, because this is a very lethal attack coming in. Well, they've gone into the think tank on this one. I'm not sure if that bodes well for me or good for me. They are getting constrained on mana here. While we're doing this, why don't we take a look at our sideboard? Now, what do we want to do here? I think Grafdigger's Cage should come in, because that shuts off both Breach and Citadel. I could see us wanting mind break traps. But I like this more on the draw than I do on the play. But we'll see. Oops. All right, guys. Sorry about that there. My opponent actually was not really tanking. They were waiting for me because my internet dropped. Sorry about the quality of the video here right now as my computer loads here. I guess it's going to take some time. But so my opponent has dug here and it's still going off the Citadel. The dig through time obviously was very good for them. Or could have been very good. It's really scary, but okay. Oh, they found the Lotus. Okay, I think it's very realistic that we die here now. Yep, there's the breach. Do they have the brain freeze? Yep, they do. So we are dead. That's unfortunate. It'd be awfully nice to be able to see our cards here again. Um, I do find this an awful experience. Okay, it looks like we're back here, guys. All right, so we have established that we're playing against Tinker Breach, and it very likely has some sort of sideboard plan to it. I mean, I think Cage is probably just something we should be doing. I don't think Pithing Needle Scares is probably essential in this situation. I could see Messed Up being decent here. Just if for no other reason to get a Bolt or a Rogue Shattering Spree. Mystic Forge is really bad with Grafdigger's Cage. This is DAC proof. I do like that. I do like the ability to just kill out of nowhere. Excuse me. Let's try this out and see how it goes. We perhaps want a Soul Guide Lantern. Maybe not, though. I think I'll do that more on the defensive. Okay. We don't have the Sphere, but we do have the Cage. And Cage is going to be pretty powerful here. That said, I do think I'm just going to slam a big 5/5 here and get started. I think the likelihood of my opponent being able to kill me on turn one is fairly small. We just want to get some pressure on them early, and it's about the best we can do. Next turn we'll get a big ballista in there. Drop a Cage. Sorry about that. My neighbor is rototilling their property. So it's very possible my opponent is setting up a Shattering Spree here. That said, I am going to try and get the Ravager in play to get some value if they do. So they may just respond to this. I mean, they can't instant Shattering Spree, but I mean, I don't know what it is they could have there, but we're just going to do our best to work around it. Okay. They maybe don't like the double Ravager here. I mean, I'm not feeling too good about this, but because a big shattering spree just really hurts me. Like if I had a wasteland here, I'd feel very differently about things, or a sphere, but that's not the type of hand I have. So unfortunately, I'm kind of all in on the aggro side of things. Not unfortunate, just is not optimal. And I am going to play the cage out here. It's just something that they're going to have to work around if they want to win. And we are putting some substantial pressure on our opponent here, potentially winning next turn, actually, if the ballista resolves. So we'll see. Like it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Yeah, like easily if the ballista wins. But this is probably a double spree here, is my guess. Okay, I mean, not the worst, guys. That was pretty nice, too. 7. Yeah, like if this resolves, right? 4, 5, 6. 7, that would put them to 4 or to 7. And then I have a 1/1 ballista. So the way I can sequence this to ensure that I win right here is if I cast the Sphere of Resistance, I will have 3 mana floating, allowing me to cast a 1/1 ballista, and I will make my Ravager a 7/7, and then I will hit them for 7, and then drop 7 tokens onto my Ravager. So that does work. I believe. Opponent rightfully making me execute my game plan. Okay, so I think it gets a little trickier on the draw. I think I like the extra cage. Ravager was definitely the all-star there for sure. I don't think Defense Grid really does enough for me. I guess the big question I'm asking myself in this situation, okay, I think Lantern could be good here as well. There's a lot already. Stone Coil looked really solid there. Probably will cut a Nettle Cyst. I don't think Mindbreak Trap is good enough for what I'm looking for here. I think I really need to maintain my ability to pressure my opponent. That said, though, like I just don't feel like until they're comboing off, and that usually doesn't happen until mid to late game, I can't see a world where I'm wanting to sit on Mindbreak Trap. I'm taking out all the big things that my deck has, right? That's the problem here. I think this is going to be a tough one to take on the draw, but I still like Ginger Brute in the sense that there's a world where I could just get this with Saga, attach a Nettle Cyst to it, make it unblockable, and just win out of nowhere, which is not a line my opponent may have prepared for. If you watch my round 2 matchup, you will note that it was very, very good for me there. So we've got 30 seconds. I mean, the reality is that I can't have the best of both worlds and everything. I think I'm just going to take the Stone Coil out and just hope that we don't need to worry about it. Okay, this is a decent hand. Turn 1 Sphere, turn 2 Lodestone. I do like it. Just have to hope my opponent's playing fair. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Time walk, yep. Pretty good start for them. Oh, Lotus. Oh, no. That's actually really devastating, to be honest with you, because of the Shattering Spree. 3, 4, 5. They maybe hard counter this. I don't know. I very much feel that my opponent has a Shattering Spree, and the Lotus just really opens that up for them. But we'll just try to deploy as little as we can and try and win that way. Okay, a Braid. Yep, that makes sense. Wouldn't mind seeing a Cage off the top. Soul Guide Lantern, perhaps. Okay, so they're just going, we're going to do a value breach here, which is still pretty good. And 2 cards in hand. They're going to get another one here from the Probe. Now, if they have the combo here, I'm just dead. Yeah, and they do have the combo. Okay. Very well done. Okay. Show you guys how breach works here. We're dead in this position. So what they end up doing is they keep bringing back their Black Lotus, and then they brain freeze themselves so they've got enough cards in their yard to get a storm count lethal enough to tendrils my or to freeze my whole deck out. And so I draw my deck and I die. Breach is a really good deck, and I would say in general I've had a fairly difficult time beating Breach just in my tenure in Vintage. It's kind of a deck that just gets you out of nowhere, and I've never really been a fan of playing it either because I don't like getting stuck with the pieces in my hand when you don't have the combo. But certainly even value breaches are good. So my opponent's up to a storm count 5 now, so that's 15 cards they can mill me for. There's their Lotus. So, wish I had those Mindbreak traps. This game would have looked very different. I mean, they've got one card in hand, so what are the chances they'd be able to stop a trap? Not very good. So, as you can see, they are down to very few cards in their library now, and have their storm count up high enough now that they can redirect this at me twice, or they could bolt me out. There's a number of ways that they could win here. Now, that's a lot harder to bolt me out. But it's a fairly resilient deck. But how it beats, dedicated graveyard hate is beyond me. Like I'm looking at my opponent's deck here, and they really do not have another type of win condition other than a Lally on their deck and a Tinker into Sphinx. And um, to me, that's a little bit weak, given the amount of Ley Line of the Voids running around in the format. But all that said, I mean, you can see here it's still a very powerful deck, and my opponent did get there. Of note, we do have a very strong answer to Sinks of the Steel Wind in our deck in 4 Snakes. So had we, seen that a little bit earlier, I may have boarded a bit differently. But so my opponent is going for style points here. They are going to lightning bolt me out, and you gotta love it. They do have bad taste in art, though, for the lightning bolt. I do like the MED lightning bolts on Magic Online. They're much cleaner looking. Regardless, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, hit the like and subscribe button. Feel free to leave any comments, and we will see you for round 5. And hopefully we can get into the top 8 still.